Ethan Cross opened his eyes slowly, blinking against the soft glow that filled the medical bay. The room hummed quietly with the sound of alien machines, their lights pulsing in calm rhythms that reminded him of a heartbeat. He tried to move, but pain shot through his left side, sharp and insistent. He groaned and pressed a hand to the bandages wrapped around his torso. Every muscle ached, but it wasn't unbearable. It was enough to remind him where he was, far from Earth, on a planet that no human had ever truly understood. He heard footsteps before he saw them. A figure approached, moving with grace and silence. Ethan's eyes widened slightly as he noticed her form. She was tall, slender, and covered in skin that shimmered faintly under the medical lights. Her eyes were large, almost too big to be human, and glowed with a soft amber hue. She moved closer, holding a tray of instruments he didn't recognize, and stopped beside his bed. "Lieutenant Cross," she said in a voice that was soft and calm. Like a melody, "I am Lyra. I will help you recover." Ethan blinked. Her words were clear, but the tone carried something beyond simple communication. It was calm, steady, almost reassuring in a way that made him relax despite the pain. "Lyra, right," he managed, his voice rough from dryness. "Am I okay?" "You will be," she said, her eyes studying him carefully. "Your injuries are serious but not fatal. The station's medicine will repair you." She began checking his vitals, her hands gentle but precise. He noticed that her fingers had soft, glowing tips that traced lightly over the monitors on her tray. The machines responded to her touch as if they recognized her presence. Ethan felt a strange sense of safety. It was the first time in hours he hadn't felt trapped inside his own pain. "How long have humans been here?" he asked cautiously, curious about the strange alien station. "Long enough to understand your species," she replied, smiling faintly. There was no arrogance in her tone, only a quiet confidence. "We help, but we do not interfere beyond what is necessary. You are learning, and you will survive." Her words seemed simple, but Ethan felt a warmth in them that went deeper than explanation. It was as if she was not only tending to his body, but also reassuring something inside him he hadn't realized was trembling. His fear. The thought surprised him. Humans were known for resilience, but this was different. He tried to speak again, but a wave of dizziness made him close his eyes. Lyra noticed immediately. She stepped closer, placing a hand lightly on his shoulder. The glow from her fingertips spread softly across his skin, and he felt the tightness in his chest ease, the pain dull slightly. "Rest now," she whispered. "You will need strength for tomorrow." Ethan nodded, too tired to argue. As he drifted, he couldn't help but notice small details about her. The faint patterns of bioluminescence that ran along her arms like flowing lines of light. The way her head tilted slightly when she listened to the machines. The way her eyes seemed to see not only him but the space around him, almost reading the air itself. She was unlike anyone he had ever met. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt different here. When Ethan woke again, the room was quieter. Lyra was still there, sitting by the bed, watching him as he stirred. He realized then that she had been there the entire time, never leaving, a constant presence that was at once alien and comforting. "You are awake," she said simply. "Good. Your body heals faster than we expected." Ethan shifted slightly, testing his strength. "Faster than what I expected," he murmured, unsure of why her presence calmed him so much. Lyra tilted her head, almost like she understood the thought before he spoke it. "Humans are capable of more than you realize," she said quietly. "Sometimes you only need someone to remind you of it." Her words lingered in the air, strange but not threatening. Ethan's curiosity began to grow, mixing with a cautious admiration. Who was she really? And how could someone so different understand him so deeply, so quickly? He wanted to ask, but he was too weak. Instead, he watched her, studying the gentle rhythm of her movements, the soft light that seemed to follow her, and the patience she carried like a shield around him. For the first time since the mission that had landed him here went wrong, Ethan felt a flicker of hope. The pain was still there, the uncertainty still pressing against him, but somehow it mattered less. He wasn't alone, and in the quiet of the alien medical bay, surrounded by machines that hummed like breathing creatures, Ethan Cross realized that this strange, luminous nurse, so unlike any human he had ever met, might just change everything he thought he knew about survival, trust, and the possibilities that lay ahead in the stars. Ethan awoke to the soft hum of the station, the lights dimmer than the day before. His body ached less, though every movement reminded him that recovery was still underway. Lyra was already there, kneeling beside the bed with her hands folded neatly in her lap. She smiled when she saw him stir, a faint glow from her bioluminescent patterns tracing along her arms. "Good morning," she said. Her voice was calm and steady, carrying no hint of impatience or urgency. Ethan tried to return the greeting but found his throat dry. Lyra quickly produced a small cup of liquid, golden and glowing faintly, and helped him sip. The taste was strange, slightly sweet and metallic, but it soothed his soreness. "You must be careful today," she said. "Your body is still fragile. Overexertion will slow healing." Ethan nodded, though he wanted to explore the station. Curiosity burned in him like a quiet fire. He had never been inside a place like this. Humans had built ships and outposts in space, but this was different. Every surface, every machine seemed alive, as if the station itself understood the needs of those inside. "Do you ever get tired?" he asked. It was a simple question, but his eyes followed her subtle movements, wanting to understand. Lyra paused, considering. "We rest differently. Our energy is renewed through focus and calm. We are not like humans, but we understand them." Her words sparked a question he had been holding back. Understand. "Humans? How?" She glanced at him, eyes glowing softly. "Observation and experience, we assist. Sometimes humans do not see their own strengths until someone guides them. We offer guidance, not control." Ethan was quiet for a moment, thinking. He had faced danger, missions and emergencies, but nothing like this. Nothing that made him feel simultaneously small and yet capable of more than he imagined. Lyra's presence was not just comforting. It made him aware of possibilities he had never considered. "Can I walk a little?" he asked. His voice was stronger than yesterday. Lyra helped him sit up, supporting him with gentle hands. The warmth from her fingertips seeped into his skin, and the pain in his side lessened. Together they moved to a small area of the room where the floor was soft, like a thin carpet over a smooth surface. Ethan took a cautious step, then another. Lyra stayed close, guiding him silently, watching his balance, ready to support him if needed. "You are stronger than you think," she said quietly, almost to herself. "Humans, remarkable." Ethan frowned slightly. "Stronger than I think? What do you mean?" She smiled faintly, stepping back a little to give him space. "Your mind can adapt. Your body can endure more than you believe. Often humans limit themselves with fear or doubt. You will see." Ethan took another step, then stopped, feeling a spark of pride. It was small, almost insignificant, but it reminded him of why he had joined the mission in the first place: to test boundaries, to discover, to survive. Lyra's calm confidence seemed to amplify that spark, making it burn brighter. They moved slowly through the room, and Lyra spoke softly about the station. She described the machines, the way they monitored life, the subtle ways they assisted in healing. Ethan listened, fascinated, though he did not understand everything. Yet even when words failed, her gestures and expressions communicated more than any explanation could. He began to sense that the alien way of thinking was not only logical, but deeply attuned to life itself. Hours passed, though Ethan barely noticed. The simple act of walking, listening and observing made him feel alive in a way the battle could never provide. Lyra remained patient, encouraging him without push, guiding him without command. In her presence he felt challenged, yet never threatened. As the day drew on, Ethan felt the first real sign of hope. The ache in his body faded to a dull memory, replaced by awareness of the station, the life around him, and the alien beside him. He realized that recovery was not just physical. It was something deeper, something that made him reconsider what he thought he knew about strength, resilience, and trust. Toward evening, Lyra guided him back to bed. She adjusted the bandages, checking each one with care. Her fingers lingered a moment on his arm, and he noticed how gentle she was. It was not an unusual gesture for a human nurse, but with her alien presence it felt different. Like the touch carried understanding and reassurance beyond language. "You will sleep soon," she said. "Your mind needs rest as much as your body. Tomorrow we continue." Ethan nodded, exhausted but not in pain. He watched her, noticing the faint glow of her markings in the dim light, the way she seemed to move with purpose yet never hurried, and the way she looked at him with calm attention. For reasons he could not explain, he felt safe. As he drifted to sleep, he thought about the day, the small triumphs, the quiet lessons, and the strange, undeniable sense that this alien nurse understood more about him than he did about himself. It was as unsettling and inspiring all at once. He realized that survival in this station on this planet might depend not just on technology or skill, but on the connections humans were capable of forming, even with species entirely unlike their own. And in the soft hum of the medical bay, under the gentle glow of alien lights, Ethan Cross felt the first real hope of recovery and perhaps of something far greater. Ethan woke in the middle of the night. The room was quiet except for the low hum of the station. The soft glow from the machines cast gentle shadows across the walls, and he felt the strange calm he had come to associate with Lyra's presence. He turned slightly and saw her sitting near the bed, watching him as he slept. Her eyes glowed softly, amber light reflecting in the dimness, and for a moment he felt as though she could see every thought inside his mind. "Lyra," he whispered, his voice hoarse from sleep. Why are you always here?" She tilted her head, a faint smile crossing her face. "You are not alone. Healing requires more than medicine. The mind, the heart, they must be at peace." Ethan nodded slowly, though he barely understood. He had faced fear, pain, and the unknown, but this was different. There was something in her presence that reached beyond the body, into a part of him he had never noticed before. "I can't sleep," he admitted. "Everything feels strange here." Lyra's glow brightened slightly. "Strange as growth. You are learning, adapting. Your body and mind need this time." He looked at her, trying to make sense of it. "Adapt to what?" She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a soft whisper. He could barely understand the words, but their tone carried meaning beyond translation. Something warm, almost like a memory he had forgotten, stirred inside him. The sound was calming yet powerful, as if it was reaching into the very core of who he was. "What was that?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. "It is a whisper," she said, her fingers lightly brushing the edge of his hand. The contact was soft but steady, and Ethan felt a small shock run through him. Not pain, but awareness. His senses felt sharper. He could hear the hum of the station more clearly, see the faint patterns of light on the walls, even feel the faint pulse of air as it moved past him. "Did you do that?" he asked, amazed. "It's like I can sense everything." Lyra nodded. "Humans have potential hidden inside them. Sometimes it takes a guide to awaken it. You are learning to see what is possible." Ethan's heart raced. He had always believed in human strength and courage and endurance, but this was something more, something beyond training, beyond instinct. It was as if her whisper had unlocked a part of him he didn't know existed. "Why me?" he asked, his voice barely audible. "Why not someone else?" "You were near and you were ready," she said simply. "Readiness is not skill alone. It is openness. Your mind accepted what I offered." Ethan tried to speak again, but words failed him. Instead, he focused on the sensation of her hand lightly resting against his, the warmth of her presence, and the soft rhythm of her breathing. Slowly, he began to notice things he had never paid attention to before. The small adjustments of the machines, the patterns of light, the way the air shifted slightly around moving objects. His mind was alert in a way it had never been, and for the first time since his injury he felt powerful without strength, capable without effort. Hours passed, though it was difficult to tell. Ethan felt a calm clarity he had never experienced before. He could recall details of missions, instructions, even conversations he had nearly forgotten. Thoughts that had been fragmented now connected with ease. He realized that her whisper had done more than soothe him. It had expanded his mind, awakened a hidden ability to perceive and understand. When dawn finally came, the soft light of the station filled the room. Ethan was still awake, sitting on the edge of the bed, feeling stronger, sharper, and strangely at peace. Lyra was there, her glow fading slightly in the brighter light, but her presence remained reassuring. "You are ready to try more today," she said quietly. "Your body is healed and your mind has begun to see." Ethan looked at her, feeling a mixture of awe and gratitude. "See, what exactly?" "That humans can do more than they imagine," she said. "You are capable of understanding, adapting, even guiding others. It is not magic. It is potential." Ethan stood slowly, testing his strength. Every step felt lighter than before. his body responding to commands he barely thought to give. He realized that the whisper had not only healed him but taught him to notice, to anticipate, to understand. It was a gift of perception and clarity, and he felt its effect deep in his bones. "Lyra, I think I understand," he said, his voice steady. "You're helping me become better than I was before." She smiled, the faint glow of her markings flickering like soft fire. "Better, yes, but also ready. Ready to face what comes next." Ethan looked around the room, at the machines, the soft light, and the alien nurse who had changed the course of his recovery. He understood now that survival in this place required more than medicine or courage. It required connection, trust, and the willingness to accept guidance, even from a species entirely unlike his own. And as he prepared for the day, a sense of excitement replaced the lingering fear he had carried since the crash. He knew that his journey was only beginning, and that with Lyra's guidance, he could discover abilities he had never imagined. In the quiet of the medical bay under the soft glow of alien lights, Ethan Cross felt a spark of something extraordinary, an awakening that promised not only survival but growth, strength, and a deeper understanding of what it meant to be human. Ethan felt different that morning. The glow from the station's lights seemed warmer, and the hum of machines sounded almost musical to him. His body was stronger, his mind clearer, and the lingering pain from his injuries had nearly vanished. He had slept deeply, yet he felt awake in ways he had never experienced. Lyra noticed immediately, sitting quietly beside his bed as he stretched cautiously. "You feel more yourself," she said softly, her glowing markings shifting gently. "But there is more to understand." Ethan frowned slightly. "More? I feel good, stronger. What more is there?" She gestured toward a console across the room. "You will see soon, but first you must walk with me. There are things you should know about this station, and about your species." Curiosity sparked within him. The phrase "your species" made him pause. Lyra had never spoken about humans before, only about healing, learning, and potential. He followed her carefully, still cautious of his body, but eager to discover what she meant. The corridor outside the medical bay was sleek, metallic, and alive with soft lights. Ethan noticed subtle patterns in the walls, lines that pulsed slowly, guiding his eyes forward. He realized that the station itself seemed to anticipate movement, responding to the presence of anyone inside. Lyra walked ahead effortlessly, her gaze occasionally flicking back to ensure he kept pace. They reached a small chamber filled with data panels, holographic displays hovering in the air. Ethan's eyes widened. He had seen advanced human technology before, but nothing like this. The displays showed star maps, mission reports, and strange symbols that shifted as if alive. "Your species," Lyra said, stepping closer, "has always had potential to explore, adapt, and grow. You face challenges and dangers, yet you endure. That is why we began assisting you long ago." Ethan blinked. "Assisting? Humans? How?" She pressed a panel and a holographic record appeared. Images of early space missions, long before Earth had ventured beyond its solar system, flickered to life. Humans were shown building ships, exploring planets, and making mistakes, but subtle guidance appeared alongside them. A signal here, a resource there, always unseen, always unnoticed. "We observed," Lyra said, her voice calm. "We guided only when necessary. Your species had the ability to survive and thrive, but sometimes guidance helped avoid disaster. We did not interfere. We prepared." Ethan felt a shiver of awe. For decades, humans had believed they were alone, forging into space with courage and mistakes alike. Yet here was proof that another species had quietly shaped their progress, not by force but by support, by teaching them to see and understand possibilities beyond their immediate senses. "Why?" he asked. "Why help us at all?" Lyra's gaze softened. "Because potential is precious. You are small, fragile, yet capable of greatness. When guided, humans can achieve far beyond what they imagine. We do not interfere with control. We awaken, we guide. That is our purpose." Ethan's mind raced. He thought about the whisper in the night, the clarity, the perception he had gained. It made sense now. Lyra had not just healed him. She had awakened something within him. Humans alone were strong. With guidance, they could reach levels of understanding and adaptability that even he could barely imagine. He glanced at her, awe mixing with gratitude. "So, All those missions, all those discoveries. You were behind the scenes? Only to help you find your own way, she said. The choices, the courage, the mistakes, they were always yours. We only offered a chance to see more clearly, to grow faster, to survive better. Ethan sank into a chair, letting the weight of the revelation settle. It was humbling and inspiring. Humans had achieved so much, and yet, the galaxy had more to offer than they could have ever imagined. And Lyra's species, the alien race that had guided them quietly, had done so with patience, respect, and an understanding that humans could rise on their own, if given the right tools and awareness. I don't know what to say, he admitted. It's overwhelming. Lyra's hand hovered near his, and when she touched his shoulder lightly, he felt a warmth that steadied him. Do not fear it. Knowledge does not command, it guides. You have seen a glimpse of potential. With it comes responsibility, understanding, and courage. Ethan nodded slowly, realizing that his own journey had just begun. He thought of the missions, the challenges, and the nights spent recovering in her care. He realized that the human capacity for growth, resilience, and exploration was far greater than he had imagined, and with allies like Lyra, there was no limit to what could be achieved. The chamber remained quiet, the hum of technology and soft light creating a calm, almost sacred space. Ethan looked at the displays, at the history of his species, and at the alien beside him who had quietly changed the course of humanity's future. He understood now. Survival was never just about strength or skill. It was about trust, connection, and the willingness to embrace guidance when offered. And as he rose, ready to continue exploring the station and learning all he could, Ethan Cross felt something he had never felt before. Pride, not just in himself or in humans, but in the potential of life itself, fragile, capable, and endlessly resilient when given a chance to grow. Ethan woke to a sudden alarm. Red lights flashed across the station, and the soft hum of machines was interrupted by a sharp, urgent tone. His heart raced. Something was wrong. Lyra was already at his side, her amber eyes glowing brighter, moving with calm precision. Ethan, she said, her voice steady despite the alarm. There is a problem in the energy reactor. It is unstable. We must act quickly. He sat up, muscles tense but ready. Reactor? How bad is it? Critical, she replied. If not stabilized, it could collapse the station's systems. You must assist. You are prepared. Ethan's mind raced. He had studied the station, learned its systems, and experienced Lyra's guidance, but this was different. The reactor was not a simulation. Failure meant real danger. His pulse quickened, but he felt a strange calm under Lyra's steady gaze. Come, she said, taking his hand lightly. The touch was gentle but firm, grounding him. We will do this together. They moved through the corridors, the station responding subtly to their presence. Lights brightened as they approached the reactor room, panels shifting to guide them. Ethan noticed details he had never seen before. The slight vibrations, the faint changes in air pressure, the humming patterns of energy flow. Lyra had trained him to notice these signs, and now they were crucial. The reactor room was vast and filled with machines that pulsed with energy. A low, threatening hum vibrated through the floor, and sparks flickered along the control panels. Ethan froze for a moment, overwhelmed by the scale of the task. You can do this, Lyra said softly, her hand on his arm. Trust yourself. Trust what you have learned. He nodded, taking a deep breath. As he stepped forward, he felt the whispering effect of Lyra's presence again. Not words this time, but a quiet guidance in his mind. He saw patterns, calculations, sequences that his conscious mind could not process alone. The reactor's instability became clear. The critical points, the failing circuits, the sequence needed to stabilize the energy. This way, Lyra said, pointing to the nearest control panel. Ethan moved with confidence, adjusting dials, pressing buttons, and rerouting energy flows. Lyra's touch remained near his, a constant reminder that he was not alone. The pressure was immense, but he could focus in a way he never had before. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Sweat ran down his forehead, but his hands moved with precision. Each adjustment made the reactor hum more steadily, each sequence executed with care. He felt a surge of awareness, noticing patterns and energy fluctuations that would have gone unnoticed before. Lyra's guidance was subtle, almost invisible, but it amplified his perception and decision-making. A final sequence remained. The main core was overheating and failure would be catastrophic. Ethan hesitated for just a heartbeat, then felt Lyra's hand lightly on his shoulder. The warmth reminded him of the lessons she had taught him. Observation, trust, and the hidden strength within. He moved with confidence, following the sequence he had seen in his mind. Energy readings stabilized. Sparks died down. The reactor's hum returned to its calm rhythm. Ethan exhaled, his body shaking from the effort, but a triumphant smile spread across his face. "You did it," Lyra said, her glow dimming to a soft, steady light. "You saw what needed to be done. You acted." Ethan's chest swelled with pride. He had faced danger and survived not because of training alone, but because of the awareness, perception, and trust that Lyra had helped him discover. The human capacity for adaptability and focus had been amplified by her guidance, and he understood now how far his species could go when paired with understanding allies. "Thank you," he said, his voice steady despite exhaustion. "I couldn't have done this alone." Lyra smiled, her expression serene. "You could. I only helped you see what was already inside you. Humans are capable of greatness even when they doubt it." Ethan leaned against the console, catching his breath. He looked around the reactor room, at the energy flowing steadily, at the machines responding perfectly, and at the alien beside him who had transformed a near disaster into a victory. It was more than just saving the station. It was a lesson in potential, trust, and resilience. For the first time since arriving on Nereus 9, Ethan felt a sense of clarity about humanity's future. Humans were small and vulnerable compared to the vastness of space, but their ability to learn, adapt, and persevere made them extraordinary. With guidance, understanding, and cooperation, they could achieve remarkable things. As they left the reactor room, the station returning to its quiet rhythm, Ethan felt a new confidence building inside him. He knew that challenges would come again, but he also knew that humans were capable of overcoming them, sometimes alone, sometimes with allies like Lyra, but always capable of growth and courage. And as the corridor lights faded behind them, Ethan Cross realized something important. Survival was not just about strength or skill. It was about awareness, trust, and the courage to act when it mattered most. With Lyra's guidance, he had glimpsed what humanity could become, and he knew that the stars were no longer distant mysteries, but opportunities waiting for those brave enough to reach for them. The station had returned to its quiet rhythm. The alarm was gone, the red lights dimmed, and the hum of the machine settled back into a gentle pulse. Ethan sat in the small observation room, staring out at the stars through the thick, transparent walls. The expanse of the galaxy stretched endlessly before him, dark yet filled with tiny points of light. Each star reminded him of missions, possibilities, and the vast unknown that awaited humanity. Lyra stood beside him, her soft glow reflecting faintly on the walls. She did not speak at first, allowing Ethan to collect his thoughts. He had just faced one of the station's greatest dangers, and yet he felt calm, strong, and capable. It was a feeling he had never experienced, a mixture of pride and humility. "You performed well today," Lyra said quietly. "Better than expected. You have learned not only skill but awareness." Ethan turned to look at her. "Awareness. It feels strange. Like I can see things I never noticed before. The machines, the energy flows, even small changes in the air. I don't understand how I could do it." "You did it because you trusted yourself," she explained. "Because you allowed your mind to accept guidance. You are capable of more than you imagine, Ethan. Humans often underestimate themselves, yet in moments of challenge, true potential emerges." Ethan absorbed her words, feeling their weight. It was not just about surviving the reactor crisis, it was about realizing that human potential was far greater than he had believed. He thought of all the challenges humans faced on Earth and in space and how much more they could accomplish if they learned to trust in themselves and cooperate with others. "I never thought humans could," he began, searching for words. "I mean, we've done a lot, but it feels like we're just starting to understand what we're capable of." Lyra nodded. "Exactly. Your species is resilient, adaptive, and curious. You endure hardships, make mistakes, yet grow stronger. That combination, strength and adaptability, is rare. It is why guidance can amplify what already exists inside you." Ethan glanced back at the stars. He remembered the fear he had felt when the reactor was unstable, the tension that had gripped him as sparks flew and alarms blared. And now, looking back, he realized that fear had not been a weakness. It had been a signal, A challenge, a reminder that humans must rise to survive. Lyra had helped him recognize that, showing him the connection between awareness and action, perception and courage. So, he said slowly, what you're saying is, humans are capable of more than we give ourselves credit for, and with guidance we can reach even higher. Correct, she replied. Guidance does not replace effort, judgment, or courage. It only illuminates possibilities that may be hidden. You have seen this for yourself. Today you acted not because I directed you, but because you trusted what you had learned and because you trusted yourself. Ethan felt a deep sense of understanding. The whisper in the night, the guidance, the subtle presence of Lyra. It was not control. It was partnership. It was teaching humans to recognize their strengths and use them fully. He realized that the lessons applied not just to survival on the station, but to humanity as a whole. I think I understand now, he said. It's not about being stronger than anyone else. It's about recognizing what we can do when we work together, when we notice, when we adapt. Humans, we're more than just what we see on the surface. Lyra's eyes glowed softly, like light filtering through a calm evening sky. Yes, and that is why humans can thrive in the galaxy. Not alone, but in cooperation, in awareness, in courage. That is your greatest strength. You have seen a glimpse of it, and now it is yours to nurture. Ethan felt a quiet pride, not arrogance, but a calm confidence that filled him from chest to head. He realized that the galaxy was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable, but it was not insurmountable. Humanity had the tools to survive, to explore, and to achieve greatness. Lyra had simply shown him how to recognize what was already within him. For the first time, he did not fear the unknown. He did not fear failure. He felt ready, capable, and aware of the potential that lay dormant in himself and in the humans he represented. It was a profound shift, quiet but powerful, like a seed that had taken root deep inside. Thank you, Lyra, he said softly, for everything. For helping me. See? Her glow brightened slightly and she stepped closer. You need no thanks. You only needed to trust. Humans can achieve extraordinary things. Never forget that. Even in moments of doubt, even in times of fear, you are capable. Ethan looked out at the stars again, feeling a sense of connection to everything around him. The vastness of space, the hum of the station, the quiet presence of Lyra, all of it was part of the lesson. Humans were not insignificant. They were adaptable, resourceful, and capable of growth beyond measure. And as he sat there, letting the calm of the station and the quiet light of the stars fill him, Ethan Cross understood something fundamental. Survival was only the beginning. Understanding, awareness, courage, and cooperation, these were the keys to humanity's future. With them, the stars were no longer distant. They were opportunities waiting for humans to rise to their potential. Ethan woke before the station's usual morning hum. The memory of the reactor incident lingered, but instead of fear, he felt a quiet confidence. His mind was sharp, his body steady, and he carried with him a sense of clarity that had grown over the past days. He stood near the observation window, watching the stars glitter against the dark expanse of space. For the first time, they did not seem distant or unreachable. They felt like part of a map, a challenge, and an opportunity all at once. Lyra appeared quietly, her glow soft but steady. She did not speak immediately, letting Ethan absorb the moment. He turned to her with a small smile. I think I understand now, more than I did before. You have learned well, she said, not only about yourself but about your species. The strength, courage, and adaptability of humans are remarkable. And now you see what cooperation can do. Ethan nodded. It's strange. I always thought survival was about skill, maybe luck. But now I know. It's more. Awareness, trust, learning from others, even from someone completely different. It matters more than I imagined. Lyra's expression softened. Yes, humans are unique. Your minds are capable of growth, creativity, and understanding. That is why you are important in the galaxy. You can adapt, overcome, and achieve far beyond what you believe, and you can inspire others to do the same. Ethan looked back at the stars. He thought about Earth, the missions, the mistakes, and the countless human lives striving to survive and explore. They were fragile yet capable. Humans could endure challenges that seemed impossible, and when guided or united with allies, they could achieve extraordinary things. Lyra had shown him a glimpse of that potential, and he understood that it was not limited to him. It was the gift of humanity itself. "I want to do more," he said, his voice steady with determination. "Not just survive. I want to help humans reach what you showed me." Lyra's glow brightened faintly like a warm sunrise. "Then you understand the true lesson. Growth is not only for yourself, it is for others as well. Humanity's strength lies not just in courage but in awareness, adaptability, and cooperation. You have seen the possibility. Now it is your task to share it." Ethan felt a deep sense of purpose. He remembered the nights in the medical bay, the whisper in the dark, the guidance that had changed his perception, and the confidence he had gained in the reactor room. Each experience had prepared him, not only to survive but to inspire and lead. Humanity was capable of more than he had ever believed, and now he understood that he could help others realize it too. "You've given me more than just healing," he said quietly, almost to himself. "You've given me understanding." Lyra inclined her head, her glow reflecting his determination. "Healing is only the beginning. Knowledge, awareness, and trust are the path forward. You will face challenges. The stars are vast and unpredictable, but with clarity and courage, humans can rise to meet anything." Ethan turned again to the stars. He imagined the countless planets, systems, and civilizations waiting in the galaxy. Fear and doubt no longer clouded his thoughts. Instead, he felt a deep connection to the universe and a sense of responsibility. Humanity was small in comparison, yet capable of greatness. The lessons he had learned, awareness, adaptation, trust, and cooperation, were tools for survival, growth, and discovery. He looked at Lyra. "I don't know what comes next, but I know humans are ready. I know we can rise to the challenge, and I know we're not alone." Lyra's markings flickered softly, a sign of approval and understanding. "You are correct. Humans are never alone when they recognize their strengths and work with allies. You have seen this firsthand, and now your species can continue to grow, explore, and achieve. Remember what you have learned. Share it, inspire it, live it." Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the calm hum of the station and the vast expanse beyond it. He felt alive in a way that was deeper than survival. He felt aware, capable, and ready. His trust in humanity's potential was unshakable, and he understood that every human carried within them the ability to rise above fear, adapt, and achieve extraordinary things. "I will remember," he said softly, "and I will not waste it. Humanity, we can do this. We can reach the stars." Lyra smiled faintly, her glow fading slightly as she stepped back. "I will watch always. The future of humans is bright, and it is yours to shape. They will surprise you as you have surprised yourself." Ethan turned to the window one last time, taking in the endless field of stars. For the first time, he did not see them as unreachable points of light. He saw opportunities, challenges, and the endless potential of humans to explore, survive, and thrive. Every spark of light was a promise, and every shadow was a test waiting to be met. And in that moment, Ethan Cross understood the truth of it all. Humanity was small, yet extraordinary. Capable, resilient, and endlessly adaptable. Guided by trust, awareness, and cooperation, there was nothing they could not achieve. With allies like Lyra, and the courage and potential within themselves, humans could face the galaxy and whatever came next, with hope, strength, and determination. The station was quiet once more. Ethan's heart was steady. He was ready. Humanity was ready, and the stars waited.